jump on this afternoon and talk to you about one of my favorite nutritional strategies that I personally have implemented into my lifestyle over the last 6 months, and that is the concept of fasting. So fasting is not a new nutritional strategy. It's been around since forever, the beginning of time. And I would say I was exposed to fasting almost 15 years ago through a book called The Warrior Diet. And I'd actually completely forgotten about the fact that I had read this book until it was mentioned a couple of months ago in one of the podcasts I was listening to about fasting. And I think the reason why I totally forgot about the fact that I had actually read this book, and they were mentioning it because The Warrior Diet, the author that wrote this book, was really one of the first people to bring fasting out into the mainstream. And I think the reason why I totally forgot about that book, because at the time I thought it was crazy. You know, I'm a dietitian. I'd been taught over and over throughout my training and education that the most important meal of the day was breakfast. Skipping meals reduced your metabolism. You had to eat 6 small meals a day in order to burn fat. So I just could not wrap my head around the fact that not eating would be beneficial. So fast forward a couple of years, and I would say over the last 3 years, this concept of fasting has been coming up over and over in the literature that I've been reading. So I decided in December to give it a try. Is it easy to do? Does it work? Does it really make you feel better, have more mental clarity? Does it help you lose weight? I just wanted to kind of see what it was all about. So in December, I simply began to fast. I did not change my diet. I did not change the way I exercised. And if you think about December, it's not the best month to be doing anything new because, you're more social gatherings, more outings, more big dinners, meals, and things like that. But I loved it. By the end of the month, I had lost a couple of pounds. I had more energy. I felt really good. So I was like, hey, there's definitely something about this fasting. So then I was like, you know what? I need to learn a lot more about this. So at the first of the year, I picked up Dr. Jason Fung's book, and it's The Complete Guide to Fasting. So if you want the nitty gritty, and it's not very big, it's a very easy read, and the scientific data around why fasting really works, it's a great read to look at. So I encourage you to pick it up. But this guy is out in California. He has this huge medical clinic, and he's treating diabetics and hypertension and obesity with simply the concept of fasting. Now, I do a concept called intermittent fasting. So it's more of where you fast for short periods every day. So I consume all my food in 8 hours, and then I fast for 16 hours. Now, what Dr. Fung is doing out in California is, he's putting people on, day fast, week fast, month fast, and he's seeing dramatic changes in their insulin response, their glucose levels, their blood pressure. So tons of really good scientific data coming out about the benefits of fasting. So I wanted to kind of jump on and just tell you and explain to you the different ways that you can incorporate fasting into your lifestyle and how it may benefit you. So one way that you can fast throughout the day is called the 16-8 rule. And it's probably the easiest form of fasting to implement into your lifestyle. And it's just simply where you skip breakfast. And most of us skip breakfast anyway, so it's really not that big a deal. So most people are going to consume their food between like 12 and 8. So you kind of get all your food, you get all your calories, you get all your protein. You're not restricting, you're not reducing. You're just limiting your eating window to 8 hours. And then you're simply going to fast for the next 16 hours. And I know 16 hours sounds really crazy, but look at it this way. You're going to eat for 8 hours. You're going to sleep for 8 hours, and you're going to fast for 8 hours. So the majority of your fast is actually going to be, or at least half of your fast is going to be while you're asleep. So it's not that big a deal. But the benefits of the fasting is that you have to allow your body to burn through your glucose and your glycogen in order for it to actually start burning fat. So anytime that we consume foods, especially when we consume foods that are high in, carbohydrates, it causes our glucose levels to rise. Once we have a rise in our glucose, the pancreas must secrete insulin in order for the glucose to go down. Now, insulin is the number one fat storing hormone in the body. So anytime insulin is present, you are storing fat. It's guaranteed. So when we talk about weight loss, you have to reduce your insulin levels. That's the bottom line. So the lower we can get our insulin levels, the more fat that we actually burn. So what happens is when you eat for 6 hours, when you eat 6 small meals a day, when you're eating, 12 to 14 hours a day, you're constantly have a spike in your insulin. You eat breakfast, insulin spike. You have a snack, insulin spike. So all of those insulin spikes prevent the body from burning fat. So what the fasting does is it allows the body to burn through all that glucose, get rid of all that insulin, and then to actually start tapping into your fat stores. When all the glycogen stores are gone, the glucose is gone, the only thing the body has to use for its energy source is your fat. All right, so it guarantees that we tap into our fat on a daily basis. Now, the problem is it takes a good 14 to 15 hours to really burn through all of that glucose and glycogen to get to those fat stores. So if you fast for 10 hours a day, you're not going to get into the fat stores. 12 hours, you're not going to get into the fat stores. So it's really getting to that 16-hour mark is where you really see the magic. And I always like to tell my clients, I'm like, you know what? The magic is really happening right around hour 14 and 15. That's when you're burning tons and tons of fat. So that's the benefit. Now, if you can stretch your fast to 17 hours, 18 hours, even better. So the longer you can get your fasting window, the more fat you actually burn. So for me, this has been a really amazing nutritional strategy to implement. And I've seen the ability to lose weight with it. But more importantly, I've seen the ability to actually maintain the weight loss, which is always key. Losing the weight a lot of times is the easy part. Keeping it off is the hard part. And the intermittent fasting has really been the game changer in terms of the ability to keep the weight off. And so I did the Faster Way to Fat Loss program that I'm running right now. I did it to the T at the first of the year, starting in January for 7 weeks. I lost 15 pounds. I'm in the best shape of my life. I'm leaner than I ever have been. So then it's like, okay, can I keep this off? What is it going to take for me to stay this way? And I would say the number one reason why I've stayed this way is because I haven't stopped fasting. The intermittent fasting is the game changer. Is my diet perfect? Absolutely not. Do I exercise, like I did when I was on the program? Absolutely not. Have I maintained every bit of weight that I have lost off? 100%. And I really attribute that to the fasting. So that's really what I love about this 7-week program, the Faster Way to Fat Loss, is that it combines these nutritional strategies. We talked about carb cycling, and that's all about improving insulin sensitivity. We're talking about fasting, which is all about improving your metabolism and getting the body to be more of a fat burner versus a fat store. And then we talk about intentional exercise. And it's those 3 components combined that produce these amazing results, the ability to really lean out. But more importantly, it's a program that you can do forever. You can carb cycle forever. So my maintenance is I do low carb on the weekdays, which is a little bit easier. And then I have high carb on the weekends when I'm out and running around and social and all of that. So I'm still technically carb cycling. I fast every single day. It is my goal to limit my eating window to 6 to 8 hours. And then, I incorporate exercise throughout the week. So if you're interested in learning these amazing nutritional strategies that are not only going to help you lose the weight, but keep it off, join my June the 19th session. So 2 weeks from now, I'm starting a new session with a whole bunch of new people And over the next week or so, I'm going to share with you how my current group is doing, because they are doing amazing. I'm so excited to share that with you. So let me know if you have questions about fasting. If you do nothing else, try it. Give it a go. People are so scared about trying the fasting, and it tends to be a heck of a lot easier than you think it's going to be. So give it a go. Give it a try. If you've got questions about the Faster Way Fat Loss Program, shoot me a message. If you want to sign up, I'm gonna put the link in the comments below. I know, Michaela, I love fasting. It's so easy. So sign up with the link below and give it a go. Thanks, guys. Have an awesome Tuesday.